Hey guys, this is Whale Hater. Thank you very much for clicking on this video. We're doing the Practice Skills Assessment Part 2 for the CCNA Course 2. This is basically right before the skills final, and we are practicing our best to get 100% on this thing. So let's get going on this, and we're going to just figure it out as we do it. All right, CDP activation. So CDP activation. Let's do it. What does it want us to do? CDP should only be active on the serial interface that connects the HQ and branch routers. CDP should not be sending messages on any other interface. Okay, so what that means is that these two interfaces should be sharing CDP information, whereas these interfaces down here and these interfaces over here shouldn't have anything going on with them. So to do that, let's do the CDP run global command. So I'll turn on CDP on for everybody. And then let's do the interface range command, G00 to G01 for this router. And we're going to say no CDP enable. So turn it off on those interfaces. Okay, let's exit out of that. And let's do branch now. CDP run, and then we're going to do interface S001. No CDP enabled. You see, almost do that no shutdown command. Boy, is that a habit. Double up arrow. We're going to do 10. No CDP enable. So that's done. What are we going to do next? All routing in the network should be done statically. Hosts on all the networks should be able to reach each other and on the internet over IPv4 and IPv6. All routes should be configured using the next hop interface address, not the exit interface, where we're going to do the next hop interface parameter in order for you to receive credit for your configuration. So for IPv6 and IPv4, we're going to be doing routes, default routes to the internet on HQ. So first things first, if we're going to do IPv6, let's enable IPv6 routing. Unicast routing. And just so we don't forget, let's do it on this one too. Okay, so those two are done now. We're going to do some default routes to the internet. So IP routes, if we don't know where we're going, we need to send it to the next hop interface, which is right there. Since we're on this router, we're going to go to that interface. So S000 on branch, it's right up here. So that's 192.168.2.1. Okay, let's do IPv6 now. Route, double colon, that's the default route right there. And if we don't know where we're going to go, if we don't know what the packet is, let's send it off to the interface B:1. Enter. Okay, so that one's done. Let's do branch now. Branch. Oh, we're already there. Huh. Let's do an IPv6 and an IPv4 static default route off to the internet. So here's our primary link. So we need to send it off to that interface, the S000 on the cloud there. But we don't have any network addresses for it. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to figure this out. So if we're going to go out through this interface, those two should be on the same network, the 198.1.100.0 network, and it's /30, which means that if it's a 0, that's the network address, then a 1 and a 2 is going to be the host addresses, and then a 3 will be the broadcast address. So for branch, his exit interface is S001, so he is on this network, and it's a 2. So we know that that interface is a 1. And we'll do the other one too, S01 interface, or S010 that exit interface is got an address of 2, so that one's got to be a 1. So both of these are the ones on these two networks, these /30 networks. So I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. But anyway, IP route, and we're going to say, if we're going to go off to the internet, we're going to need a default IP address and subnet mask, and we're going to say 198.1.100.1 is our next hop router. IPv6 route is going to be, this one we do have an address for, right here. D:1. Okay. What's next? Now we're going to do some floating static routes. So we've got a backup link to the internet right through here. So that means let's do our double up arrow and 0.113.1, and then we have to give it that metric of 5 because it tells us that we want to do a metric of 5 for the floating static route. Let me just make sure I got this right. 203.0.1130.1. Okay, enter. Now let's do this one as well, and that is going to be what now? E:1. So let's just change this to an E. And then we have to give it an administrative distance of 5. Enter. All right. IPv6 and IPv4 static routes to the LAN A network. So that guy right there. IPv4 routes to get to the 192.168.1.0 network. Go to this interface right there, which is what? So on HQ, its interface is S001, so that's a 2.2. 192.168.2.2. Enter. Okay, now we'll do IPv6 over here. So 2001 DB8 CAD, and we want to get to the A network. /64, love slash notation, and we're going to go to the next hop router of DBH CAD B:2. Enter. All right. Now, what's next? IPv6 and IPv4 static host routes to the admin. That's right there. So that's the address. So if we want to get to a certain address, it has to be very specific. So 172.16.1.10, the subnet mask is going to be all 255s because we want every portion of that to be valid. Now it's going to be the same next hop router interface of that 2.2 right here. And then the IPv6. Let's just double up arrow. If we change that to a C, then we have to give it the address of 10, and that turns into a 128. Because we want that whole address to be configured into the branch's routing table. Next hop router is correct, right? Should be. Yep. Enter. Okay, what's next? Configure DHCP version 4. The hosts on LAN A and PC hosts on LAN C, if there were any, should receive their addresses from DHCP. Admin, that server over there, has been statically pre-configured with an address using the following values. Oh, use the following values, rather. Gotta put those periods in the way I'm talking. So, we are on branch, and we need to be on HQ. Alright, So I learned to always exclude my addresses. DHCP exclude. So we exclude first. Now, which ones do we need to exclude? Exclude. These two addresses, so those static addresses, and then the static address for this guy, that 172.16.10.1.10. So G00 and G01. So exclude addresses 192.168.1.1. Enter. Change that to a 16, change that to a 72, and then change that to a 10. So we just did all three of our addresses. So here's the LAN A gateway router, there's the LAN C gateway router, and here's the admin server. So we don't want those addresses accidentally given out. IP DHCP, and we're going to say pool, because we want to start one of these pools up. We're going to do pool LANA. So the network for LAN A is right here. 192.168.1.0, 255s, and the 0. That's the network we're going to be doing. The default router is 192.168.1.1. Remember that address up here. Enter. And the DNS server is going to be what now? 209.165.205. Enter. So that one's done. Let's do LAN C now. LAN C. Network is 172.16.1.0/24, so it's 255s, then the 0. The default gateway is 172.16.1.1, and the DNS server is going to be the same thing as up here. Let's just do a copy paste. Save my fingers some walking. So that one's done. Okay. All hosts on LAN A and LAN C should get able to reach each other and the web server. So we should probably get the addresses going. DHCP. Bingo. Yes. Okay, let's do a ping. 192.168. What was that? That was a 2, right? Replies. I love it. 3. Got some replies there as well. And then let's ping that web server. 209.165.200.10. There it is. Yay! Makes me feel good. I was a little nervous. Okay, step 4, configure NAT. On branch, configure NAT between the XYZ Corporation network and the external networks as follows. Create a static NAT mapping between the internal admin server, that is on LAN C, so this guy, with an inside global address of 198.151.110. So both of those addresses right here, we're just going to statically map this address to this address. IP NAT inside source static 172.16.1.10, and we're going to map that to 198.512.110. Enter. Okay, that one's done. Configure PAT to use only interface S01 to translate addresses. That's that one. Of your PC hosts on LAN A and LAN C. Refer only to the interface in your configuration. Do not refer to an interface IP address in your configuration. Okay. Permit all host addresses on LAN A and LAN C networks to be translated by NAT, and use an ACL number of 1 to permit the network, or to permit the required networks. The ACL should have only 2 statements. Okay, let's do the ACL first. I like doing ACLs. Access list. 1. Permit 172.16.1.0. That's that first. That's LAN C with that wildcard address, and let's change that to a 168.192. Same thing. Okay. Now let's tie these all together. IP NAT inside source list. We're going to reference the list we just made. And then we're going to say interface S001. And then we have to use PAT over there. So we have to use the overload command. Enter. Now let's go to interface S000, and we're going to give that the IP NAT inside, because it's on the inside of our network. Then we're going to do the same thing over, well, sort of, over here to S01, and we're going to say outside. Okay. All hosts should obtain their IPv4 addresses dynamically. We did that. All hosts should be statically configured with full IPv6 addressing according to the information in the addressing table. Okay. All hosts should use the router interface link local address as the IPv6 default gateway. All right. So our link local is right there, FE82. I think we can remember that, right? So let's do Office 1. We'll just do these in order. 2001 DB8 CAD A:5, and that's a 6564. Let's do a copy here since these are all going to be the same. FE80:2, and that is a CAD DNS server. F:5. Enter. Next. Let's see, this one is production 1. So A:10 64 FE80:2 F:5. That's A. So accounting is A:15 64 FE80:2 F:5. Okay. Got our link local now. Cool. Now, just to make sure this works, let us do a ping 2001. Actually, let's just do this. Paste, and we're going to do the F. We're doing this server right here. F:10. Cool. Worked. Let's do that admin server down here now. Yay! It works. Let's do a trace route to F:10. All right. Looks like everything's running. Went through the proper interfaces. through the D route instead of the E. Well, it looks like everything's done. Oh, do I dare? Do I dare turn this in and be embarrassed if it didn't work properly? I dare. Well, I'm going to tell you the best joke I know since we have to wait. Knock, knock. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that to you. I feel like we need some Jeopardy music or something. At least after this you will know if whale haters steered you wrong. 100 points! Oh, oh, yeah! We are awesome! Well, thank you very much for watching. Comment below if you got any questions, but after this perfection in practice skills assessment, I don't think you should have any questions, right? Please subscribe, though, because we're coming out with awesome videos like this, and I will always be truthful to you, but just be true to yourself, whatever that means. All right, guys, talk to you later. Peace.